Okay, here we go. So we're going to finish topic 1-3 today, segments and distance. I did talk to you guys about this square root thing. Okay, so if you turn to example 4, we're going to talk a little bit more about this just so I can clarify a few things. Okay, so I went and spoke to Miss Wood yesterday because by the time I got to 4th period and everybody was like glazed over when I did this, and I was just like, okay, did y'all do square roots last year? And she said that y'all touched on it just at the end of the year, very, very little. So, since you haven't been taught how to do square roots just yet, we will learn how to do this, okay? But for right now, for chapter 1, since we're already all like 3 lessons into it, I'm going to let you have decimals, okay? So you need to know how to type that into your calculator and give me the decimal answer. Either this answer or the decimal answer, okay? So on the decimal answer, it would have been something like 7.07, I think, if you wanted to. So if you want to go ahead, in fact, let me get the calculator really quick, and I'll show you. So, if you can do your first line and work all the way through to get this square root, that will be a legitimate answer. Or you can type in the square root, so I would do second, and then I would get down to that 50, and I can just hit enter, and it'll tell me 7.07. Okay, I will have both options on the test for you. Okay, like I'll have the square root of 50, comma, 7.07. Does that make sense? All right. And if it's fill in the blank, I'll take either answer. And even I might give bonus points if you can get it to that. All right. So here we go. We're going to continue with example 5. Okay, it's the same type of problem that we just did, except this time they didn't list the points for me. So if I look, example 4, they listed the points. 5, comma, -2, -2, -3. On this one, they gave me the graph, but they didn't list the points. So no big deal. All you gotta do is list them, right? So what are the coordinates for point A? What is the x and y value for point A? Y'all remember how to graph points? You gotta crawl before you can walk. So the x first, so left or right. So I'm gonna go to the right, 1, 2. So that's positive 2. And then I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. Right? Did I count correctly? Sometimes those little boxes are really tiny. Same thing with B. Okay. What are the coordinates for B? Should it? Oh, yes. Thank you for catching my mistake. I am not awake this morning. Good. All right, what about B? Good. Positive 4 and then up. Yes. Good. All right. Now, I have my points. Same problem as yesterday. So I'm going to label first. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Since it is a new day, okay, I'm going to write the formula as well. You don't have to write it if you don't want to. But I'm going to write it so that way you can see it again. So distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay. At least give me the first line. If you're going to do the calculator, that's fine, but I at least want that first line with the numbers in it. So replace the letters with the numbers for me. Square root, what did I put under x2? 4 minus x1 is 2 squared plus y2, 5 minus a -3. Good. Somebody's answering for me this morning. I can hear you. And I appreciate you. All right. That can be typed in your calculator, or you can do it in sections like we were yesterday. So I'm going to change my double negatives into a positive. Okay. If you want to skip some steps, you can skip steps as well. So I'm going to do the square root of 4 minus 2 is 2, and then I need 2 squared. 4. All right, so if you looked, I put my little 2 underneath that group, and I knew I had to square it, and that's how I got 4. I'm going to bring down that addition, and now I'm going to do 5 plus 3, 8, and then 8 squared, 64. Good. What is 6 plus 4? 64 plus 4. Is that a perfect square? No, it's not. So either leave it that way for me or give me the decimal answer. 8.25? 8.24. Good. Either one of those will be sufficient. And you do not have to put both, just one. Square root of 68 is perfect, or 8.24. I'll take either one. All right. How do you feel on that? A little bit better than yesterday? Like seeing it a second time? Like after your brain relaxes a little bit? Sometimes. We'll see. You'll get to do some homework today. Some practice. All right, let's see. What's next? Examine the measures of PQ, QR, and PR from example 2. Notice, segment addition postulate. That's what we're doing. So, vocab, or actually it's a rule. So, segment addition postulate is what we're talking about. And they want us to flip back to example 2 and look at the different segments. Okay, so I'm going to flip. You can just watch. So you can just watch. Here's example 2. Now, we're talking about segment addition. So when I say segment addition, first, what's a segment? It's just a line, right? And what's addition? Like you're adding something together. So what is segment addition, do you think? We're going to add some lines together. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So they're telling me that if I take P to Q and I add QR, this is like one of those common sense things. So if I add blue and green together, then it's going to equal the P to R. So basically, if I add these two, right, because this is my blue, I know I did it all kind of weird. This one is the green. If I add those two numbers, do they equal the pink? 6. 4.5 plus 1.5 is 6. That's all segment addition says. You add two pieces together and it equals the big piece. Not yet. Not yet. We're going to be done here in a little bit. I promise, I promise. Okay, so this just says if I add these, so if I take PQ plus QR, it's going to equal PR. That's all it's saying. As soon as we're done, Stephen, I promise. All right, example 6. These are a little bit easier than those square roots. Okay, we're going to draw pictures for pretty much all of them. So if B is between A and C, so I'm going to draw a line. And I'm going to put dots on the end. And it says B is between A and C. So how do you think I'm going to label this line? There's 3 dots on there. A and C are the outside. And B is between them. And it doesn't say it's in the middle or anything. It just says it's between them. So I could have put it really close to A if I wanted to. All right, now I'm going to label exactly what they tell me to label. So, let's see.
it says from A to B is 4. So here, from A to B, this is going to be 4, the distance of 4. And then from B to C is 5. And they want to know how much AC is. So what are you going to do? We're going to add 4 plus 5 because they want the whole distance from A to C. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Good. The whole distance is 9. Okay, that's like the most basic one. Let's do the second one now. Or 7. If AB, okay, so same picture. They didn't give me, they didn't say set it back up again, but I'm going to use the same picture. And if you ever need help setting up your picture or clarification, tell me. And I'll tell you, oh, it's the same picture as before. Or same labeling. This time, from A to B, I have X. So variables now. Letters. Then from B to C, I have X plus 6. And then they told me AC. So from A to C is now 24. Think about what we did a while ago. I wrote the equation right above, right? So I wrote the equation that I used here. This is the same thing. We're just going to replace these with this, or vice versa, right? Replace these with this. So the first part, the first section, A to B, I added to the second part. So plus X plus 6. And then it's going to equal the entire distance. Isn't that the same setup I just had? It's just a little longer, right? I still took the first piece plus the second piece, and then it equals the whole piece. Now, how do you solve equations? They're doing this right now in algebra. What is it called? When they look the same, what can I do? Combine like terms, yes. So X plus X is 2X. We're adding. I'm going to bring down that plus 6 because I'm not using it. And then I have equals 24. How many of you like to draw that line? Do they still teach that? Okay. Draw that line if you need to. Now what am I going to do? Subtract 6 from both sides. Good. 2X equals, and no mental math for Miss Shupak. What's 24 minus 6? 18. And then divide by 2. What's 18 divided by 2? All right, so X equals 9. Am I done? No. What? They want A to B, so I'm going to go back and plug that in. So I'm going to take this X, and I'm going to plug it into each one of those variables that they want. Right? So A to B is real easy because it is just X. So that is 9. But what's B to C? 9 plus 6. Good, 15. All right, Stephen, you can go ahead and go. All right, we're going to do the last one. And then I'm going to give you your assignment. Let's see. Find ML if L is between N and M. All right, so let's draw a picture. I'm telling you, Ms. Shupak loves pictures. And if you bring me your stuff and say, I don't know what to do, I'm going to tell you, draw a picture. And I'm trying to find a pen that I like because I'm special like that. Okay. Here we go. There's my line segment. It says L is between N and M. So N and M, L is somewhere on that line. Now I'm going to label what they tell me to label. Does everyone understand how I'm putting these things on the lines? Okay, good. All right. So from N to L, I have 6x minus 5. Then from L to M, 2x plus 3. And then N to M, the whole thing. All right, so this one's just like the other one. The whole thing is 30. Bigger numbers, same process. So take each segment that you want, and I'll color code it for you today. So I'm going to take purple, 6x minus 5, and then I'm going to add the blue, 2x plus 3, and it is going to equal the entire length, which is 30, the orange. Sorry. Okay, combine your like terms and solve for x. So 6x plus 2x is 8x. Negative 5 plus 3, good, equals 30. We're going to add 2 to both sides. 8x equals 32, and divide by 8. Good, x equals 4. That's way down there. Can you see it? Good. Is that my answer? No, this time they want LM. So this one over here. So plug that in. 2 times 4 plus 3. So LM, if you want to be really official, 2 times, thank you, 2 times 4 plus 3. Are y'all good with that? Like, I'm kind of not skipping stuff, but I took this and I just made that to where you can't read it, and I plugged it in there. Okay, so I took this value, that 4, and I plugged it into that. So 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3. Good. Good, good, good. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. The hardest part is that distance, and I just told you that you could use decimals. So as long as you can plug it into the calculator, or actually, sorry, as long as you can plug the numbers into the formula, you should be good. All right, let's do this. Let me pass out homework. Let me stop.